Hello, we recently purchased this cheap action camera on Amazon. This is the Surfola SF230, and we are going to make some video tests. This will be a video all about video tests with this camera. How good do you think the video quality is? Do you think it's a camera that you might be interested in purchasing based on this footage? We're going to find out, and you will be able to decide for yourself. So what do we have here? We have this action camera that we just bought. There was a coupon. I decided, okay, let's try this camera out, the Surfola SF230, which is actually what we have right here, and I'm very excited to go outside, make some videos, and then we can play the videos back for you momentarily. The second part of this video will be the video test, which will follow very shortly. What do we have on this camera, the Surfola SF230, aside from image stabilization, which we'll make a separate video test on? Maybe we'll include it as part of the video test here. So in this camera we have, as soon as we turn it on, we have several video settings all the way up to 4K 30 frames per second supposedly, but we're going to, again, let you decide. I'm not going to tell you, oh, this camera is a great camera. All we're going to do is show you the video test and let you see how this camera is recording the video. So we have videos, photos, playback mode, and most importantly, here we go, the video. This video is about video tests, so when we go to video resolution, we see it goes all the way up to 4K, 2.7K, and my personal favorite video setting, 1080p 60 frames per second. The photos we can talk about in a separate video, but this video will be all about video tests, recorded at various resolutions. I'll be sure to specify when I'm recording at what resolution I am recording. Very excited to go outside and test this camera. This is the Surfola SF230, and the video test will follow. We're going to go outside. It's a bright sunny day, and we're going to go make some videos. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day. I'm very excited to test this camera. I really like these cheap action cameras. Just shows you that sometimes you don't have to pay hundreds of dollars to have a camera that records video quality that is acceptable to you. I know it's all subjective, so let's just relax, and we're going to look at some video tests momentarily with the Surfola SF230 budget-friendly action camera recently purchased on Amazon. Hello, this is a 1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the Surfola SF230 action camera. 1080p video test, 60 frames per second. (1080p 60 frames per second video test with the Surfola budget-friendly action camera recently purchased on Amazon. (1080p video test, 60 frames per second. (1080p video test, 60 frames per second. (1080p video test, 60 frames per second. 1080p 60 frames per second video test with the Surfola action camera that you see right here. Video test with the Surfola SF230 action camera. 1080p video test, 60 frames per second. Hello, this is another 1080p 60 frames per second video test with the Surfola SF230 action camera. 1080p 60 frames per second video test. 1080p, 60 frames per second video test. (1080p) video test, 60 frames per second with the Surfola SF230 action camera. (1080p) video test, 60 frames per second. Video test, 60 frames per second with the Surfola SF230 action camera. (1080p) video test, 60 frames per second. Hello, this is a 2.7K video test at 30 frames per second with the Surfola budget-friendly action camera, 2.7K. 2.7K video test, 30 frames per second. The Surfola action camera, the SF230, recently purchased on Amazon. The Surfola SF230, 2.7K, 30 frames per second video test. (2.7K) video test with the Surfola SF230 action camera. (2.7K) video test, 30 frames per second. (2.7K) video test, 30 frames per second. (2.7K) video test at 30 frames per second with the Surfola action camera. 2.7K video test, 30 frames per second with the Surfola action camera. 2.7K video test, 30 frames per second. (2.7K) video test, 30 frames per second. (2.7K) video test, 30 frames per second with the Surfola SF230 action camera. 4K video test, 30 frames per second with the Surfola SF230 action camera. This is a 4K video test at 30 frames per second. "4K video test, 30 frames per second with the Surfola SF230. "4K video test, 30 frames per second with the Surfola SF230 action camera. No image stabilization on this video test. "4K video test with the Surfola SF230 action camera. "4K video test at 30 frames per second with the Surfola SF230 action camera. "4K video test, 30 frames per second. Hello, this is a 1080p 60 frames per second video test with the Surfola SF230 budget-friendly action camera recently purchased on Amazon. The Surfola SF230 action cameras, 1080p 60 frames per second video test. How well can you hear me right now? How good do you think the video quality is? This is the Surfola SF230 budget-friendly action camera that you see here, the Surfola SF230. This is a 1080p 60 frames per second video test without image stabilization. No image stabilization here on this video test. 1080p 60 frames per second. How well can you hear me right now? How good do you think the video quality is on this budget-friendly action camera? "1080p video test, 60 frames per second with the Surfola SF230 action camera.